Pikaboo, Dillypoo, and Kubzy versus Genericz, Mageiden, and Dannycarry. The Subtlety Thug versus the Combat RMD.
We already saw.
What happened the last time we saw this matchup? Was it a blowout?
Boo Brothers smashed them.
Yeah, it seems really hard. I've lost smash. I lose to that. Like when I play RMD and I fight Pikaboo, Dilly, and Kubzy, they farm me when he's on his like 500 item level rogue and green weapons and stuff. So it's hard. It seems hard, anyways.
It's an underestimated comp. And they are playing the Subtlety spec. Early sap on a Mageiden. Flare comes down. It's going to pull Genericz out. And Pikaboo's just going to cheap shot him. Try and swap over. He gets Pet Nova though. He's going to be able to Shadow Step. Uses the Shadow Dance very early on the Mageiden. Dannycarry using the Barkskin there as the Crows was blown from Dillypoo as well. Now Dilly into the Kidney though. Caught, stunned up. Taking a bit of damage here. Deep Freeze on a Kubzy. Clone onto Pikaboo. They need to land the Poly. They land the full Poly. Dillypoo's completely alone. He's trying to kite across the map. Ice Nova connects. It might be his first deterrence. A nice Wyvern Sting onto Genericz. Buying Dillypoo a little bit of time. Full blind onto Danny. Trying to pressure Mageiden, but Pikaboo just can't connect. He goes into the Poly, into another Poly. Black Sheep, just endless.
I'm pretty sure he's a white sheep, but that's exactly what this RMD needs to do. They need to get the cross CC onto Kubzy as well as Pikaboo, because if Pikaboo is free to play his character, he's going to be garroting and cheap-shotting everything, which is what he's known for. The Cloak of Shadows coming out from Pikaboo. He's sick of sitting in the CC. Kubzy finally caught into that defreeze, but there's going to be no follow-up CC from Mageiden there, and now it looks like they're trying to pressure Mageiden, but they haven't had any CC onto Dannycarry just yet. Dannycarry as well as Genericz still have the trinket, so Genericz not going to be a viable swap option for the moment. As long as he has that trinket available, he should be A-okay. The bash from Kubzy coming onto Dannycarry into that full trap. Genericz now being swapped onto with the Crows. He's going to trinket that immediately. He has the Feign up as well as the Ironbark, and now that they've gotten trinket out of the way, Genericz is in a really, really bad position. He'd be very scared. Pikaboo still has that smoke bomb available, but Mageiden taking so much damage. Kubzy also taking damage at the moment. The RMD swap onto Kubzy. He has Barkskin as well as Ironbark up. He pops that Heart of the Wild, trying desperately to survive. He's not completely out of the woods yet. He finally gets behind that pillar, going to get those hots up. Dannycarry caught into the full trap. Genericz could be in big trouble though. I think Pikaboo actually used the smoke bomb defensively there, trying to keep Dannycarry alive, so he's not going to have that for the next Genericz swap. Dillypoo taking a little bit of damage. He is a target of choice now for Mageiden as well as Genericz. Genericz gets swapped to just pre-wall that for the moment, gets cloned up on that by Kubzy, and Dannycarry caught into that full kidney shot. It looks like they are going to swap over onto Mageiden. I don't know if they have any follow-up CC for Dannycarry. Doesn't look like it, and because of that, Mageiden's going to be fine, but they're swapping out onto Kubzy right now. He doesn't have Barkskin available into the kidney shot, the cheap shot, the Garrote coming out. He could just die. And he does get away by the nick of his teeth. He's going to get some heals off, and somehow, some way, he survives. Pikaboo swapping over onto Genericz at the moment, who does have that Ironbark available as well as Evasion up. That's going to be the Crows from Dillypoo, but Kubzy in a lot of trouble. These swaps from the RMD are so scary for him.
Yeah, and Kubzy's really scared, camping a bear for him now, realizing that Genericz and Mageiden want his blood. Deep Freeze, Blazing Speed, Poly coming out onto Kubzy, going to land full, and Kidney Shot onto Pikaboo, though. Killing Spree coming out onto him. 40% HP, 30% HP. Kubzy with no trinket, getting CC'd endlessly. 15%, it could be the end for him. Ironbark NS comes out in the nick of time to top him off. Full blind onto Dannycarry now. Dillypoo trying to get the pressure rolling onto Genericz, it would seem. Full clone onto Mageiden. No stab just yet onto Danny. The full Wyvern going to be landed instead, but now a blind onto Pikaboo. No trinket. They could easily set up onto him as well. Out of that, the trap lands on the Dannycarry. Genericz gets cloned up by Kubzy. Kubzy camping that bear farm, stampeding roar, trying to line of sight. He has Barkskin and Trinket. He shouldn't really be too worried. The Deep Freeze Poly, Ring of Frost going to land down here onto Kubzy full. Pikaboo, Cloak of Shadow. Cloak of Shadow is very early here on the cheap shot swap, so no mage damage can come in, but now into the DR Kidney. Dillypoo getting Poly. Poly gets swapped over to Kubzy. Pikaboo almost alone right now. Bash into Dillypoo. A dance comes out. Crows come out. Genericz getting global through the Ironbark. Dannycarry, though, with the Clutch NS and Cenarian Ward, keeping him completely top for now with all of those trends. Pikaboo in a bit of trouble at 60%. Kubzy spamming out the hots desperately. Mageiden getting swapped to now. Activates the Amplify magic to help Dannycarry heal up a little bit, but that Deep Freeze is available now for Mageiden if they want to go any. Deep Freezes him in bear form, so he doesn't have that Ring of Frost either. He's not going to get the CC. Dillypoo into the kidney, but Kubzy's not CC'd. Should be able to heal through it just fine. That was the Shadow Reflection. Genericz getting gouged up now by Pikaboo. Possibly a setup, but he has that trinket now. Dillypoo caught into the kidney. Tranquility used by Kubzy. Out of line of sight. Isn't enough though. Ironbark deterrence used. Overlap to answer the killing spree though out of Genericz. Now Pikaboo possibly swapped to at 60%. Kubzy getting kind of tapped on mana, moving into dampening here shortly.
Yeah, and Genericz, Mage, and Dannycarry still have all their defensive cooldowns available. Genericz now caught into the kidney shot at the moment, but he had feint up for that. The Sonar ward coming out from Dannycarry there. Kubzy caught into that full deep freeze sheep, and it looks like they are switching over onto Dillypoo, who is at 50% HP. Kubzy has his trinket available. Dillypoo has 1 deterrence available. He might have to use it, dipping so low, uses that deterrence at around 20% HP. Kubzy finally out of CC, should be able to top him off, but Dillypoo has no trinkets and no deterrences available from now on, and this R&B still has all their defensive cooldowns available. As I say that, the BM Crow is coming out onto Mageiden. They're trying to switch it over onto him. Dannycarry getting that NS, topping Mageiden off there. Dillypoo trying to get some CC onto Dannycarry. The cheap shot comes out with the full blind, but he's just going to sit that comfortably. And now Dillypoo in a little bit of trouble into that kidney shot. Genericz just building up that red buff for the next killing spree. Kubzy caught into the full deep freeze. Looks like there's going to be no sheep, no ring available off that. Good job stopping Mageiden, but the bomb comes out from Pikaboo right there, and looks like they're trying to get some damage off onto Genericz. He's just going to pop that evasion and be fine for now.
Yeah, Genericz is no more evasions left. Prepped on cooldown for 2 more minutes. Pikaboo gets bashed up. Mageiden building up the icicles here for 1 more assault. Clone onto Pikaboo. Blind onto Kubzy. Has the trinket. He's going to trinket immediately. Dillypoo has no more deterrences, but he gets deep frozen on his trinket. The Ring of Frost gets interrupted, and the poly gets gouged. Kubzy's going to trinket. Shout him out the next poly. Keep Dillypoo topped off because he has no more deterrences available. Genericz into the full kidney. Going to have the nerve strike out of that as well. Now poly's onto Pikaboo. Dillypoo still being pressured. Kubzy not in any CC though. Mageiden at 50%. Crows is available. Shadow Dance now being popped onto Mageiden. They're trying to bait the Ironbark. They baited it without using Crows, so it might force the block here shortly when that Ironbark fades. That's the NS as well. Cubzy getting swapped to, though. Full kidney, no trinket. He's got the bar skin up, but is it enough? He's able to tank it. Poly onto Dillypoo. Kubzy just standing here and taking the damage. Gets the Swiftbend off. Trying to LOS here on the other side of the pillar. Genericz and Mageiden and Dannycarry, though, have all of their trinkets still. Still 2 ice blocks as well. Still no deterrence for Dillypoo. Mageiden trying to pull back here and push to get some CC onto Kubzy, but he just can't afford to. He's going to have to block if he does. Cheap shots coming out from Genericz to peel the damage here. Mageiden still building up the icicles. Dannycarry throwing out the Cenarian ward there, trying to go for some CC. There's the swap on a Kubzy now. No skin, no trinket. Calm Storm could be it. KO into the DR. Deep freeze at 20%. Mageiden into the Groat. Not going to survive that swap. Mageiden and Genericz locking it down, taking Kubzy out in the first round.
Yeah, they just didn't make any mistakes there, and Cleave really capitalized on mistakes. They played that very well defensively, didn't overuse cooldowns, and because of that, they were able to effectively get swaps onto Kubzy and ultimately killed them. That was a well-played game.
That was a very well-played game. Another thing to point out is how many traps those Trents ate that game. It was pretty crazy. But yeah, that's the swap onto Kubzy. He's just tapped with defensive cooldowns. It was all forced promptly, and there it goes. First map is gonna go to DBBDBK. There it is. Let's see. So the Boo Brothers go to Alaska, get to choose the next map.
The Boo Brothers.
Next map.
And Kubzy.
This is brothers versus brothers.
It is brothers versus brothers. Yeah, it's still
bros versus bros.
One team is actually brothers.
No,
which
not.
one is it though?
Mageiden and Generic are brothers.
No, they're not.
No, Dillypoo and Pikaboo are brothers.
Yeah.
No, Mageiden and Generic and Dillypoo.
No.
I was just kidding. They're both brothers. This is great.
Wait,
I hope
kidding
everyone's
or
nice
you were
again.
lying?
So
There's
which
a
one?
difference.
So which one's not a? They're both. Wait, hello. The next
they
map
both
of
are
this.
not?
Everyone.
This next map of this best of 7 series, guys, is going to be on Dalaran Sewers.
Hope everyone's nice and confused.
I think Twitch chat is as confused as a kid on the top of a water slide.
I gotta go. Oh, I love water slides. It's so fun to spinny spin. You just have so many options.
Oh my gosh.
Will I go down head first or feet first? My stomach or my back?
But for real, is this
Whoa.
map going to give an advantage to either one of these teams?
I don't think so. I think this
Yeah.
is one of those matchups that really doesn't have a huge map advantage, and if there is some sort of advantage, it's very slight. It could go either way on any map, I think. Methinks.
Flare thrown out here defensively by Dillypoo. Both teams all in stealth. Blizzard's getting thrown out by Mageiden, trying to pull somebody out, but Dillypoo not getting caught out. Genericz trying to find their target. Dannycarry a little bit worried about getting opened on, so he's playing very far back away from his team. Genericz on the opposite side of the map as well. There's no way they all get pulled out. Genericz and Dannycarry finally convening on this side, trying to push in. They know where they are. They've kind of locked them into this corner at this point. They're just so close to each other, not pulling each other out. Finally, Kubzy getting pulled out of stealth, camps the bear farm in case they do open onto him. Mageiden into the cheap shot, Garou taking a bunch of damage in the opener. Adrenaline Rush being used by Genericz, so he gets kidneyed on it. He's not going to be able to capitalize on that cooldown. Ironbark used onto Dillypoo very early by Kubzy as he did get full polyed. So nice pre-Ironbark there. Gouge onto Genericz. Vanish now. He's just getting locked down by Pikaboo very well. Mageiden getting locked out on all of his casts as well. Finally trying to go for the Polymorph, but Dilly going for the Wyvern Sting. He's trying to fake cast the Shadow Meld. He's not getting it though onto Dannycarry, but now he's into the full kidney shot, possibly a trap, but Genericz gets trapped up. Shadow Dance coming out. Genericz gets cheap shot as well. Mageiden with the Murder of Crows up on him at 50% HP. It might be his first block here. Just going to answer the damage with his block. Dannycarry escaping the opener with his trinket.
Yeah, Pikaboo trying to cheap shot him, get a little bit more CC onto Dannycarry with the remainder of that dance. Kubzy getting swapped to, taking a little bit of damage, but it looks like he's going to be fine. Didn't have to use bar skin or anything there. Mageiden down 1 block because of that opener. Mageiden's the only one that doesn't have his trinket, but he is getting opened up onto right now. He doesn't have trinket available, taking so much damage at the moment. The sap comes out from Pikaboo onto Dannycarry. He has to trinket that immediately into the DR trap, into the kidney shot. Dannycarry was able to get some hots onto Mageiden as well as that Ironbark, so because of that, Mageiden will be okay, but that was a beautiful sap from Pikaboo there. The full blind coming out onto Kubzy. He's choosing to sit it at the moment. Dillypoo caught into the full kidney shot. He could just die, taking so much damage. He's going to have to deterrence the full ring coming out onto Kubzy, and this could be the second deterrence from Dillypoo, unless he can somehow get away. He's in big trouble. Kubzy getting the huge NS there on a Dillypoo. Genericz into the kidney shot. Pikaboo doing an excellent job peeling there. They're just trying to switch it over onto Mageiden. The bomb coming out. The Murder of Crows. This is going to be the second block from Mageiden almost surely. And Mageiden now down 2 blocks for another 2 minutes.
Yeah, and this is when Dillypoo and Pikaboo have to capitalize. They still have all their trinkets. They can play as offensive as they want. Mageiden's got to be afraid. He's just spamming the spells. He's out, goes for the Blazing Speed, trying to get some CC onto Dannycarry. Or sorry, some CC onto Kubzy. He's playing back now. Genericz into the kidney. Possibly some more CC out of that. Pikaboo's using his kidney shots to peel more or less. Dannycarry throwing out some heals as well. Now all the Trents are down, just laying the rejuice out, keeping Mageiden completely hotted. Mageiden's very scared right now, but there's the full kidney on his Pikaboo. He's going to Trinket and Cloak of Shadows immediately, trying to stay offensive onto Mageiden. Locks out the Polymorph. Kubzy keeping the hots up on Pikaboo as he seems to be the target for Genericz for now. Mageiden gets locked out on the poly there, building up the icicles for the next assault. Dannycarry keeping up the hots still though on Mageiden, positioning very far back as well. He doesn't have his trinket, so Dillypoo and Pikaboo could swap to him as well. Goes for the Tranquility behind the pillar to keep Mageiden alive here. 1 more minute left on that block. Dillypoo's Crows coming up in a minute as well. Bash onto Genericz. Pikaboo into the kidney, but the bash is peeling that perfectly by Kubzy. Frozen Orb comes down though. Pikaboo uses the evasion out of that as well. He's got 50 more seconds to capitalize on this no block zone. The Deep Freeze comes down. He's blinking in to try and get this Ring of Frost. He doesn't manage to get it, and he gets the bear farm. The Armbar comes up, but is it enough? Murder of Crows is up. Shadow Dance gets blown. Genericz with a nice vanish here, peeling Dillypoo and Pikaboo so well, and that was the moment of vulnerability for Mageiden, and they don't get anything.
And there's the kidney bomb onto Pikaboo. Kubzy desperately blinking in there, getting the Ironbark on him. He's going to get cloned up by Dannycarry, but Dannycarry caught into the full blind. He does have Trinket available. Mageiden still under a little bit of pressure, has that block up in around 24 seconds. Dannycarry having to Trinket that full trap though, and because of that, Mageiden will be okay, carried over until that cold snap comes up in around 15 seconds, which will give him another block, I think. Pikaboo trying to get away, caught into that full kidney shot though. The cloak's going to fade. Kubzy in CC at the moment. If they can get any follow-up on him, Pikaboo could be in a lot of trouble. He is out of the cheap shots now. Gets the feint up. Kubzy gets a huge heal on him. He's in that bash. He has the Heart of the Wild up, so his hots are going to be extra powerful, but he is caught into that full clone, and Pikaboo's still not out of the woods yet, and a little bit of trouble at the moment, and Mageiden does have that block available. He hasn't used his cold snap yet, so he's not going to have 2 blocks available until he actually uses that. And he finally uses that, taking a little bit of damage. The BM Crows coming out from Dillypoo onto Mageiden. Dannycarry responding with the Ironbark as he goes into the full trap, and because of that, I think Mageiden will be okay. If we look, Pikaboo has his Trinket coming up now, so he's not going to be as target for a little while. Kubzy, though, caught into the full kidney shot. They're trying to swap on over to him. He has Barkskin available. He uses Barkskin a little bit too late, maybe. Has to use Ironbark as well. Barkskin coming out on around 30% HP. Now he has no Trinket, no Barkskin, no Ironbark available for the next swap. He could be in a lot of trouble. Mageiden getting pressured, though. Dannycarry getting out those hots. Genericz caught into that full clone, and both teams are sort of stabilized at this point, but Kubzy in a lot of trouble if they can get a good swap out onto him.
Yeah. And Pikaboo used his trinket as well. Mageiden laying down the Ring of Frost, lands onto Dillypoo. Kubzy caught in the full kidney, no skin, no trinket. That's going to be it. Another KO for this RMD. The bad man or deep freeze at 1% just to say that you are dead. You, sir, are dead.
This is crazy, man. DBBDBK was really nervous to face this team, and didn't they get knocked down to the loser's bracket by this very team?
Yes, sir.
Yes.
Wow. This is crazy. 2-0 for Team DBBDBK. Let's take a quick look at that replay. So keep it up. Yeah, go ahead,
Ryan,
man.
go.
Sorry. Kubzy right now, I mean, if you see, he's got literally nothing left. He's got Nature Swiftness, but that's not going to do much when you're in CC, as he just used that Ironbark and Barkskin on that swap. That's the kidney shot and the red buff killing spree coming out from Genericz, and that's going to do it. Roar of Sacrifice comes out, but it's just not going to be enough. All right. Let's see what the next series is going to be.
It's a best of 7, so they have quite a few games to turn it around here and kind of feel it out. So Genericz and Mageiden have really been punishing Kubzy, so he's going to have to play a lot more safe. And at the same time, like Thug Cleave with the Resto Druid, it's good because you can try and get the clones off in CC, but if you're pressuring the Resto Druid, it gets to a point where you just can't clone. And then if you can't clone, why are you a Druid in that situation? So they're just really capitalizing on that weakness on the Thug Cleave, on the composition part of it. That's why they're able to take the games off of them.
Yeah, and so they definitely figured something out. I mean, it's a completely different story from the first time these two faced each other in the tournament bracket, but the next map of this best of 7 series is going to be on Tolvaron Arena. Alright everybody, welcome to Tolvaron Arena. It is currently 2-0 in favor of the Rogue Mage Druid team. Can this Subtlety Rogue Thug Cleave pull it back? They're gonna have to win. Well, I mean, it is a best of 7, so...
it's a best of 7 and then into a best of 3, so even if they lose the best of 7...
Right.
Yeah.
If they lose the best of 7, they still have the best of 3 to get through. Yeah.
Yep. They have a lot of games. That's what I was trying to say. You have like an infinity amount of games to throw out here and try and figure out how to get around it. But both teams obviously in stealth again. Kubzy actually getting Pet Nova'd out immediately going into the bear form. Mageiden getting cheap shot. He's going to trinket here to get the deep freeze onto Kubzy, trying to go for the Ring of Frost. It's going to get locked. He goes for the polymorph. Not able to get it either. But actually gets the polymorph at the last second of the deep. Now Dillypoo in trouble. 50% HP. Common Storm comes into the DR. Cheap shot might die without deterrence. He trinkets at 15%. He gets the Bestial Wrath off. Maybe a bit of a waste here. He didn't use his crows with it just yet. The crows come up now. Ironbark is used by Dannycarry immediately to answer the barrage out here by Dillypoo. Genericz trying to throw out some CC. Actually threw out a blind. I'm not sure. I believe Kubzy actually trinketed it, and now they're swapping to Kubzy, and now he's in the cotton still in the full kidney, holding onto his skin. Deep freeze uses his skin again, maybe way too late. Killing spree comes out. Shadow melts. That's going to be it. Almost Heart of the Wild. 9%, 12%. He's trying to recover. The Garou comes out now as well, but he's stripped of all of his hots. He Displacer Beast into a full clone. Genericz caught into the blind. Dannycarry trying to buy Genericz the time he needs, but now into the Wyvern Sting. Dannycarry Shadow melts. He dispels the Wyvern. Kubzy still in trouble. 30% HP. Genericz needs to connect back to him though.
Yeah, but the next swap they have on him, if they're able to, I mean, Mageiden will have his Frozen Orb, will have a lot of damage ready for Kubzy. Dillypoo caught into the full kidney shot. It looks like they're going to go on to him. He has no trinket. The full smoke bomb comes out. Could be in a lot of trouble. That's Dillypoo's second deterrence. He does have the BM Crows coming up very shortly. It looks like they're swapping over onto Genericz, who's out of that cheap shot. He's going to be spamming that feint as well as the combat readiness. Dillypoo's still in a lot of trouble, though. Kubzy caught into that sheep, and Dillypoo could just die here, and that's going to be it. Now the NS gets out, but Kubzy's still into a cycle, and the CC chain never ending. Dillypoo somehow surviving, but he is going to die. Kubzy just CC'd for so long, and man, oh man.
Wow.
I think that ended up being so scared. He didn't want to use his Barkskin without the killing spree, and because of that, he's caught in this weird, awkward position where he was so low when the killing spree hit that the Barkskin really didn't matter that much. Somehow he survived. Man.
This is intense.
This series is just a throwaway.
They're gonna bring it back for the second. Yeah.
They're just giving them confidence, right?
And then in the best of 3, he's gonna get on a little mind of Boo or whatever.
Pikaboo goes combat. I doubt that would ever happen, but they do have the best of 3 on the back of this if they lose another game.
Yeah, I mean, that's very nice to fall back onto when you're in a double elimination bracket like this, and you have the ability to fall back on that best of 3 series after winning every single game. That's very, very comfortable to have. But, I mean, this team's got to be thinking they got to change something up drastically. I'm not really sure what it is that they need to do different. Do you guys have any thoughts?
They're just getting caught in so much CC, and like, what do you say? Stop the CC. And you're like, okay, well, how? Everyone's stunned and locked down instantly, so you can't stop it. Okay, let's use our trinkets and not use them all at the same time. Okay, we'll try that, and you still eventually just fall behind. And I mean, last week, Boo Brothers like decimated Dannycarry, Mageiden, and Genericz, and obviously they've been practicing. That or Kubzy, Dillypoo, and Pikaboo might be choking a little bit.
I'm not sure about that. I think Cleave is one of those comps you don't really have the opportunity to fight. So, a team like Generic, Mageiden, and Dannycarry might have got bested the first time they played, but now that they have a little bit more experience, I don't know. They're doing a lot better this time, that's for sure.
Oh my goodness, it is 0-3. The next map won by DBBDBK is going to mean they're going to a best of 3 after this, and they're that much closer to taking the whole thing. Can they do it? We're about to find out right now.
Yeah, again, both teams stealthy in the opener. Mageiden trying to pull him out. He does pet Nova the pet, so they're going to get in combat. No saps coming out from Pikaboo. Much more important that Pikaboo gets a sap as opposed to the combat RMD. He's just going to open with a cheap shot onto Mageiden. He blinks out of it immediately. Genericz trying to connect onto Dillypoo, the full kidney. Deep freeze, Ring of Frost coming down. Mageiden trying to fake cast the interrupt. He's going to be able to get the full ring. Dillypoo alone here. Dannycarry trinkets the blind to try and keep his team offensive onto Dillypoo. Shadow Dance Crows comes out onto Genericz. They're trying to 100-0 him, but Dannycarry's having none of that. He instantly armbarks, so now they swap over to Mageiden. The Garrote kidney shot coming out, so he can't blink. He trinkets instead. Kubzy trying to throw out the Cyclones here and fake cast through the counterspell, but he's not getting any interrupts. Instead, throwing out the Hots, keeping Dillypoo top, choosing to rebuff as well. Genericz trying to get over to Kubzy. The full kidney shot comes out. Seems like they're going to be swapping over to him. That red buff must be close to finished. And they're just trying to bait the Barkskin. This time he didn't get the Barkskin baited, so he's going to have that for the red buff killing spree in the future.
Yeah, Kubzy was able to bear form that kidney shot, which is huge, and because of that, he didn't have to use his Barkskin, like you said. Dannycarry now into the kidney shot. It looks like they're swapping out onto Genericz. He's taking a little bit of damage. The full trap coming out onto Dannycarry at the moment. Genericz trying desperately to live. Dillypoo caught into that full kidney shot, though. Kubzy into the deep freeze, potentially the Ring of Frost. The full Ring of Frost comes out onto Dillypoo. Dillypoo uses his first deterrence, so, I mean, he still has Trinket as well as 1 deterrence available. Kubzy has his Trinket ready to go, and Dillypoo doing a good job using that deterrence a little bit early. Kubzy caught into the full blind. He immediately trinkets that into a DR Cyclone. Dannycarry getting CC'd by Pikaboo into that kidney shot. The trap might come out from Dillypoo if he's able to get it. The smoke bomb coming out there by Pikaboo, trying to prevent anything Mageiden can do and block those incoming heals from Dannycarry. Mageiden taking so much damage into that first block, but that was the BM cross from Dillypoo. That was a good trade of cooldowns. Meanwhile, Kubzy into that full kidney shot, having to Barskin. Now he has no Trinket, no Barskin available, and they're just going to get off him immediately, just baiting that Barskin with the Frozen Orb. But Mageiden taking a lot of damage at the moment. He does have a block available, but he's on hypothermia. Dannycarry has that Nature's Vigil up, spamming every hot in the book. Vigil, Rejuve, Life Bloom, and is able to top him off. But now Kubzy in a lot of trouble with no Barskin and no Trinket available.
Yeah, Pikaboo trying to get the damage rolling onto Mageiden, but the hypothermia has faded. He does have another block accessible. He's completely topped as well. He's blazing speed in here. They want to swap over to Kubzy, the kidney onto Danny. There's the full kidney onto Kubzy. Smoke bomb comes in. Comet Storm comes in. Killing spree here shortly. Eviscerates. That's got to be it. How do you live this? 20%. Genericz trinkets offensively into the DR kidney. 5% Ironbark and an S. Is this a miracle? No, it is not. That is a 4-0 and not a miracle, ladies and gentlemen.
Damn. That whole time I saw Kubzy just so low, and that wasn't Killing Spree, and then finally Kubzy had a chance to breathe and Killing Spree was popped. Let's take a quick look at the replay. That's the red buff on Genericz, and the smoke bomb coming out from Mageiden. Just so much damage coming out on the Kubzy, but that's not even Killing Spree just yet. Roar Sacrifice comes out in the Kubzy as well, but and Ironbark, he displaces away, but that is the Killing Spree. You can't get away from that. And it is a 4-0 for Team DBBDBK. Up next, we have a best-of-3 series versus these teams. DBBDBK has to beat the Boo Brothers 2 more times in a best-of-3 series to take the whole tournament. Man, I don't know. If you guys were this Thug Cleave right now, what do you guys think? What will you be thinking right now? Like, what can they do? Uh-oh.
I don't know. I don't know. It's a tough spot to be in. They just got decimated.
Yeah.
They're trying to pressure Genericz more that game, but he's way too tanky. As long as he's got his trinket, like you're saying, Thug Cleave needs to exploit mistakes, and if nobody trinkets offensively, nobody blocks offensively, nobody wastes their cooldowns, you just don't have that opportunity to go. Whereas Kubzy just gets baited through the cooldowns because there's too much damage for him to deal with. He doesn't have the spam polys to peel for him on the side of the carry, so...
It's kind of, when we say bait, like, he doesn't really have a choice. If he doesn't Barcian, he'll just die. And if he does Barcian, he'll just die later. So it's like, it's kind of a shitty situation to be in for him.
Yeah. And
he did a good job. I mean, he was in bear form there. He bear formed the kidney shot, but it didn't matter. He just died anyways.
Red buff, you're dead.
Red buff, dead. I know Vanguards has been spamming that in chat a lot.
Yeah.
I guess he doesn't like I guess he doesn't like Comet Rogues very much.
4-0, red and dead.
Yeah, so every team on this double limb bracket does have the opportunity to lose once to continue to stay in the bracket, and that also includes the finals. So in the finals, the Boo Brothers Go to Alaska did not drop a single match or a single series until the finals, and so they are given one more opportunity to bring it back in a best-of-3 series. That's how it's working. And so, this is the very first map of the best-of-3 series. And we're jumping right into it. And the very first map, of course, is in the Grand Arena.
Mortal Kombat almost, and like this is the fatality moment now for the RMD. They can just push it in. So hopefully they don't get decimated again. 0 and 7, or is it 0 and 6? 0 and 8?
6 it would be. This is first to 2 wins. First to 2 wins.
Yeah, the first to 2 wins.
Yeah.
This is intense, man.
So I mean, although that last series is kind of irrelevant. This is a fresh start, 2 or 0-0. So it could go either way.
It could still go either way, but man, that was a convincing 4-0 from DBBDBK. But let's see what happens.
Yep. Pikaboo typing round 2, smiley face. So maybe this is the cheeky comeback, building up their confidence just so they can shatter them here. The Boo Brothers, that is. Opening up here, possibly getting a sap, choosing not to just yet. Dillypoo and Pikaboo in the center of the map. Flare comes down, sap on a Mage, and going to break it and open on into him with the Garrote cheap shot. He trinket blazing speeds away, spamming the spell steals. Genericz with a nice cheap shot peel opener there as well. Comes using the Ironbark onto Dillypoo here very early to answer the frozen orb. Genericz caught into the kidney as well. Pikaboo going for the vantage play, but Kubzy gets polyed up. Dillypoo pops the crows on the Dannycarry. They're trying to YOLO all in on Dannycarry at this point. 50% HP, is in a bit of trouble. Activates the bear form poly onto Pikaboo. Poly's just being spammed out constantly. Uses the Scenario Ward, the Nature's Vigil. A lot of cooldowns pop to survive. Displacer Beast to the other side of the map. He should be alright.
Yeah, but Dannycarry has no bar skin, no NS, and no trinket available, so the next swap on him could be really scary. They're not going to be able to make too much happen without that BM Crows, and that's going to line up with Dannycarry's bar skin, though. Mageiden taking a little bit of damage at the moment. Kubzy caught into the full blind. He does have trinket available. He's not going to use it. Dillypoo now into that kidney shot, taking a significant amount of damage from Mageiden and Genericz, who's using that red buff killing spree at the moment. Down to 20% HP. Going to use that first deterrence. Kubzy able to keep his trinket up, and he uses the Heart of the Wild to keep Dillypoo topped off and offensive. Genericz now into the trap. Dannycarry spamming out as much healing as possible as he can onto Mageiden, who is still the target of choice. And now Dannycarry is going to have that bar scan available in around 4 seconds, so he should be okay for the next swap. Mageiden not out of the woods yet at around 90% HP. If they can get any CC onto Dannycarry, it could be a little bit scary for Mageiden. But Dillypoo, the target of choice for this RMD at the moment, caught into that kidney shot with the smoke bomb coming out from Genericz. Dannycarry being swapped out onto, though, with the BM Crows. He has double skin up, bar skin as well as Iron Bark at the moment. He's going to be super tanky because of that. Mageiden caught into that trap, trying to cross CC him so he can't spam out those polymorphs. Dannycarry still in a little bit of trouble. He's able to get away. He's going to top himself off. His trinket's going to come up in around 20 seconds.
Yep, kidney onto Genericz on his evasion. Luckily, Shadow Step to land that kidney. Trying to pressure him with it, 40% HP. The evasion's still up for a few more seconds. Dannycarry trying to get the heals rolling. Dillypoo into kidney, clone onto Pikaboo. Kubzy camping the bear form as well. Afraid of that swap that is almost all deafening at this point. Genericz just building the red buff. Cloaks out of the root to stick onto Dillypoo and continue building the buff. Dannycarry using the Snarring ward here as well. Positioning across the map. Killing Spree comes out onto Dillypoo. Not accomplishing too much just yet. Poly lands onto Kubzy. Killing Spree not forcing any cooldowns. Now he's caught into the cheap shot. Has no evasion left as well. He uses the adrenaline rush to try and build some pressure instead, but a blind onto Danny. He wants to sit through it, I guess, here, but Genericz still taking a bunch of damage. Full kidney onto Dillypoo now, but the dance comes out from Pikaboo, trying to potentially swap, but he's just using the cheap shot for CC. No trap thrown out. Pikaboo into the full poly, gets dispelled out immediately. Genericz still at 20%. Combat readiness is up. It should be enough to tank the damage. He's still kind of getting low at 40%, but he does get cloned up with that combat readiness. Good clone by Kubzy, but they're swapping over to Mageiden with the cheap shot Garrote, so he can't blink out, blinking out now at the last second. Genericz finally out of CC, but they can swap back over to him. The NS Iron Bark comes out in the nick of time. Dannycarry reading that swap perfectly, but is it enough? Still in the kidney shot. Iron Bark at 40% HP, 30% HP. Barrage comes in. He just get put into the bash. A kidney onto Pikaboo, peeling the damage. Genericz should be fine.
Yeah, he's going to be fine through that swap, and he still has trinket available, so that was well done by him, being safe with that Iron Bark from Dannycarry, and he was able to save his trinket, so he's going to be fine for the next swap. But Mageiden actually used a block there. Was that an offensive block? I feel like it might have been. Yeah, he used an offensive block there, and the Icy Veins comes out from Mageiden, and they're trying to make something happen now. On to Dillypoo, they're swapping out on the Kubzy, actually, who's gone to that full kidney shot. He does have his trinket available and uses his double skin, so this is one of those moments, again, where now he's in a position where he has no bar skin and no trinkets available, but that was the Shadow Reflection from Genericz as well as the killing spree, so he might be okay for a little bit, but it's still really, really scary, the next kidney shot on him.
Yep, Dillypoo at 50% HP as well. He has one trinket and his deterrence available. Dannycarry caught into the kidney, possibly a trap landed out of it. Genericz getting pressure, gets cheap shot on the evasion. Murder Crows comes up at 30%. Dannycarry caught into the full clone. Kubzy taking the time to get that, but Pikaboo into the kidney, 8%. Kill shot connects. It's gonna go down. And the Boo brothers, man, they're sneaky. They're a sneaky couple of brothers. They just go 0-4 just to say, you know what? I'm turning it up a notch.
And they did turn it up a notch, and now they're one game away, despite losing the last 4 to winning the tournament. So all they need is one more win.
All they need is one more win, indeed. This is just a best-of-3 series. This is their second chance to bring it back. And that CC chain from Kubzy coming out onto Dannycarry, out of that kidney shot on Dannycarry, was what let them land that kill onto Genericz. So great job by that team. And let's see what the next map's going to be.
If you really think about it, like, capitalizing on mistakes, the RMD has to make no mistakes for 6 games to win clean.
Yeah.
So that game, they felt a little bit more edgy. It wasn't clean. There were a couple, like, overused cooldowns, getting caught out of bear form. Dannycarry was pressured a lot more, so maybe it's kind of finally falling apart. They can't play perfect forever.
Yeah.
So.
Or can they? Stay tuned. Stay tuned to GCD TV to find out.
Yeah, there is a huge advantage for the team that goes into the finals that did not drop a series. They have that safety net. But I mean, is it going to be enough? I mean, we did see a 4-0 come out of this team. But now they are on the brink of losing the whole thing. This is it, guys. This is the finals. It's a best of 3 between Boo Brothers and DBBDBK. Can they bring it back? I don't know. So they chose Ruins of Lordaeron. What do you guys think about this choice coming out from the RMD?
I think they've been killing Kubzy and they want to kill Kubzy, and this is a good map to kill Kubzy.
All right, there it is.
I think Kubzy's going to die. Kubzy has to die now, and he's going to die really quickly because Genericz and Mage didn't want to make him dead, you know?
Something like that.
Basically, Kubzy's going to die. Is that what we're calling it?
Maybe.
Maybe? We're not confident anymore?
He could survive. I'm not confident, but I think that's what they want to happen.
Oh man, Kubzy gets sniped out of stealth, but the sap on a Mageiden nonetheless before that combat was gained. They're going to open up with the Garrote once again, cheap shot as well, so he can't blink. He's choosing not to trinket this time around. Cheap shot onto Pikaboo by Genericz, so he gets bashed up by Kubzy. Kubzy trying to position to get a full clone as well. Out of the bash lands the clone. There's cross CC, Mageiden completely alone, but he's not taking any damage just yet. Shadow Dance now finally being blown. Dillypoo popping the Beast of Wrath. They're swapping to Dannycarry. It might be Dannycarry must die this time around. 30% HP gets the NS, but here's the swap onto Kubzy as well. Both Druids under so much pressure at 50%. Kubzy taking the brunt of it, camping the bear form, Displacer Beast across, Pikaboo Shadow Steps, Dannycarry trying to clone him up, low HP, doesn't get it, Genericz sitting in that full trap, Danny unable to dispel it, Mageiden might be forced into the first block.
Yeah, and Dannycarry actually tricking that blind there into a half kitty shot trap from Dannycarry, or from Dillypoo, so Mageiden is probably going to have to use his first block here if they can get any sort of follow-ups. You see, somehow, some way, Mageiden doesn't have to use that block, though, so despite that well-played CC from Dillypoo and Pikaboo, still didn't have to use that block. And meanwhile, the killing spree coming out onto Kubzy at the moment. He does have that Iron Bark at the moment, but he could be in a lot of trouble. Catches that lay on hands and tops himself off. Mageiden, though, down to 50% HP. If they can get Dannycarry and any CC, he could be in a lot of trouble at the moment, hovering around 30% HP at the moment. Dillypoo has those BM Crows up right about now, so he might want to use them to try to force that first block. Dannycarry now into the bash. The kidney shot coming out onto Genericz for peels, and the first block is going to come out. Dillypoo has those BM Crows available, so they might be able to kill him through hypothermia. Dannycarry has no trinket available.
Yeah, the Murderer Crows come up. Dannycarry realizes Iron Bark Scenario Ward isn't enough. The NS comes out as well. Pikaboo being pressured activates the evasion to try and mitigate whatever he can to bash on a Dillypoo. Possibly a clone out of it by Danny here. Trying to go for it. He gets locked out on the clone. Full kidney on a Mage, and he blinks out to the center of the map. Genericz gets rooted up. He's choosing not to cloak. Gets dispelled out by Dannycarry in time, though. Dillypoo starting to get pressured a bit, it would seem. But swapping over to Kubzy. The full kidney has the skin, choosing not to use it. He wants to save it for the red buff, but it might be too greedy. At 35%, gets the Iron Bark out before the deep freeze. He needs to get running, though, and run quick. Kubzy live, gets the NS off before he gets cloned up. Mageiden still getting pressured, has one block available.
And he needed to do that, although that was a little bit of a risky play. Now he has Barkskin available for Genericz or the red buff killing spree for when that is available, and it should be up very, very soon. I think it is up, actually. Genericz got into that full bash at the moment. Looks like Mageiden is still the target of choice, but here comes the killing spree on the Kubzy. He has that Barkskin available, but enough, he might just die.
Oh my
10 HP, barely holding on. In that bear form at the moment, no pun intended, does displace her away at 3% HP. It's able to get some heals on himself, and now Mageiden in a little bit of trouble. The full blind onto Genericz. Mageiden down to around 80% HP. Dannycarry popping that vigil, as well as the Barkskin with Dillypoo under a lot of pressure, having to use that deterrence. Kubzy now has his trinket available in 4 seconds, as well as the Iron Bark, and somehow Kubzy survives.
Yeah, and he's going to live, and Mageiden now out of blocks. Dannycarry with no trinket. This Thug Cleave finally has an opening. They just need to get the CC rolling onto Danny. They're still putting the pressure out and building that red buff as well. Genericz going into the full route. Now they're swapping to Genericz. No trinket. Cheap shot comes out. No Crows available just yet. They're trying to bait some CDs out of Dannycarry, but he doesn't even have them. Half kidney shot gets the scenario ward onto Genericz. Now spamming the Hot. Genericz still taking so much damage. Dillypoo as well at 50%. Kubzy caught into the full blind. Trinkets immediately. Wants to keep Dillypoo topped. Wants to keep him offensive here as Mageiden has finally ran out of blocks. They're still pressuring Genericz. Full Wyvern onto Dannycarry. Dance out of Pikaboo now. Garrote onto Mageiden. Mark for Death comes out. The double of Vis combo comes out as well. Into the cheap shot now. He's going to blink out of there. 54% HP. Dillypoo pops the Crows. Caw. The Iron Bark. NS comes out from Dannycarry, answering that damage immediately, but is it enough? 85% HP. 1 more minute to damage, but the swap to Kubzy. Common Storm comes in. Has the Barkskin. He's trying to sit through it. That's the killing spree. He's being so greedy. Activates the Barkskin at 29%. He has that NS. Can he get it off, though? 20%. Is this a Christmas miracle? It might just be 10%. He kites away. The Ice Lance, not enough. Tops himself back off. And Dannycarry's tapped on mana.
Yeah, but Kubzy has no trinket and no Barskin available now. Although Dannycarry has no mana, they could still make something happen onto Kubzy, who's getting cloned up or trying to get cloned up. But here comes the full kidney bomb from Genericz onto Kubzy, and if they have any damage, they might be able to kill him here. But Mageiden is getting garroted over and over by Pikaboo, doing an excellent job peeling. But there goes the deep freeze, still at 20% HP, gets the Iron Bark off. Is he going to be able to survive? Gets the rejuve off. It is getting spell stolen over and over by Mageiden, but Dannycarry under a lot of pressure at the same time, having to use that Barskin. Dillypoo getting spam polyed at the moment by Mageiden, trying to prevent that damage on his Druid. Dannycarry is going to be able to top, and Kubzy still has no Barskin, no trinket available for another 8 seconds, so they might have one more opportunity to kill him without that Barskin, but it will be up in around 3 seconds, so I think he's going to be okay.
Murder of Crows is up. Dannycarry is going for a drink. He's going to get a lot of mana in the room here. Mageiden has a block. He resets it with the Cold Snap. Stemming the Blizzards, trying to find Dannycarry, or sorry, just trying to pull anyone into combat at this point. Kidney shot onto Pikaboo, though, taking a bunch of damage from Genericz. The Crows coming up onto Genericz. I feel like they should have swapped back over to Danny. He's just going to get the Cloak of Shadows. Pikaboo in trouble. Full poly onto Kubzy. Pikaboo not 19% HP, trying to stay alive. A kidney onto Mageiden. He did get locked out, so he's not able to blink out of that. Had to sit at Dannycarry trinketing here to try and keep Mageiden top. He doesn't want to have to use that block, but now caught into the full Wyvern Sting, possibly the half trap out of that as well. Dillypoo not going for it though. Traps Genericz instead. Mageiden still at 60%, cutting as best as he can. Dillypoo connecting finally. A full blind onto Kubzy. He's going to trinket immediately, but the kidney smoke bomb comes down onto Dillypoo. No killing spree just yet. The double of Vis comes in, but they're swapping over to Dannycarry. Dillypoo forcing the deterrence. Pikaboo in the bash. Kubzy into the half poly. Dannycarry using the skin there, but Murder of Crows comes up in 13 seconds. Dillypoo just has to survive.
Yeah, and Dannycarry is actually in a little bit of a scary spot right now. He has no Barskin and no trinket available, so if they can somehow get that BM Crows onto Dannycarry and catch him in a full kidney, he could just die. Here comes the cheap shot, the BM Crows, and he might just go down here. Another cheap shot coming in, and there's no way he survived this, and Boo Brothers going to take it 2-0 with the comeback and just take the whole tournament.
There it is. There it is, 2-0 for the Boo Brothers. They use their last resort to take it 2-0. Freaking incredible. Holy crow. Let's take a quick look at the replay. I thought Kubzy was dead so many times. Holy. But he survived. He survived it all, and they made it happen. There it is.
Actually, a really important moment in that game was when Pikaboo ran over to Dannycarry, and actually, I think he kidney shot him in bear form. He was in bear form, but for some reason, Dannycarry used the skin. I guess he thought he was going to be in